Mic check. All right, so here we are, episode 4.
Quattro.
All right, we here. Anyways, you know who I am. Right beside me, I got.
Cool.
Anyways, it's just us two right now. Either everybody's on vacation. We have one more person that we're waiting on by the name of JQ, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. He'll be here shortly. He's just running a little late. You know how that goes. Chances are he's probably, if he went to go, apparently he went to go give his girl some food, and you know if the girl get the food, you get the booty, and then you gotta
that
be
that boy J Keezy in the sauce right now.
living. All right, so
A lot to talk about today.
we have a lot to talk.
We have a lot.
A lot. I don't even know where to start.
Y'all should have saw the memo.
Yeah,
We got a whole memo.
it's pretty crazy right now. We're gonna try to get through everything. Well, we are gonna get through everything because it's what we do, you know. No static. So I was about to bring something up, but I forgot what it was. It was something. Oh, I looked at episode 3. How did we not talk about G Unit and Odd Future when we talked about dope like rap supergroups?
That is true. And it's ultimately because while we all like G Unit, you can still think of a lot of better groups. Not to knock them. And as for Odd Future, yeah, I will say that because it's not to knock G Unit. I know people gonna be like, "Coop, you tripping? You from back in that?" No, look, bro. Them Odd Future cats are massively talented, and people don't give them their credit that they do. Like Tyler, the Creator, is one of the best artists, like current artists, hands down. Every album, the man he somehow gives you this familiar feeling as he reinvents himself and he pushes his subject matter and his abilities on the mic. Like I like those Odd Future cats a lot, but I like G Unit too because Bad for Mercy was a hard ass album.
Bad for Mercy was definitely hard.
One of the best albums you could listen to.
And the mixtapes that they put out like around that time, the G Unit radio mixtapes with Who Kid?
Yeah. And not only that, but the core 3 was All Flame, which was 50 Banks and but not Yayo. Talking New York told Yayo.
And what's crazy about G Unit is that they kept like expanding. Not the group, but the label itself.
They became a malignant disease after a while.
Around what time would you say? Because it was like at a time like around I think 2005 when they started getting like they had Mobb Deep, they had MOP, they had Mace wasn't signed but he was affiliated.
He was in all the videos.
Yeah, he was in all the like.
They had Olivia.
They had some other people.
They was beefing with former G Unit member Bang'em Smurf as well as Game. Nobody remember Bang'em. Bang'em Smurf.
If you watch the first beef, you remember Bang'em.
Also, I want to point out, but a couple casts ago, we covered bad rap names, and I named Ball Greasy. I'm also throwing in the hat Bang'em Smurf. Bang'em Smurf.
Bang'em Smurf.
Speaking of which, Ball Greasy also has a new project out called Bay Day.
Bay Day 2. I think it's the sequel.
It's the sequel to the original Bay Day.
Yeah.
By Ball Greasy.
That sounds hard.
It's not even going. I'm gonna just leave that there. I'm gonna leave that nice and raw and cold for y'all right there.
Ball Greasy with the new project,
The new
Bay Day 2.
Bay Day dose. All right, so yeah, no, we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we do. Another thing I wanted to bring up was that I know last week, even though granted it was on a Wednesday night when we recorded, but March 9th was a special day because of the passing of Big. Rest in peace to Big. Favorite Big song?
That's hard. That's difficult for me at least, because for me it's a strong tie between "Give Me the Loot." Shit, the Warning just so fucking flame, though. And maybe even Who Shot You. So yeah, like I see, it's hard for me. Give Me the Loot is one of my favorite big songs. It's got hella like just wonderful quotes in it, and Who Shot You is so good because he say shit on there that if you don't, you just won't catch it. Like, and then at the same time, what I said, Give Me the Loot. I said Who Shot You.
I think I got mine. I gotta go party and bullshit. I gotta go
I like
party
The
and bullshit.
Warning.
I like No Warning too. I like You did name Who Shot You. I feel like I'm missing something.
Like,
He had a lot of great songs. So it's like I personally gotta go with Party and Bullshit just because that was like my personal favorite.
I want to go with The Warning.
The Warning.
I think I want to go with The Warning. Damn, that's hard for me to say though, because Give Me the Loot is my shit. You know what? I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna go with Give Me the Loot. Give Me the Loot might be my favorite big song. Right. Damn, Notorious Thugs is up there. All right, Give Me the Loot.
Give Me the Loot.
Give Me the Loot.
Okay, we going.
Damn, Machine Gun Funk. All right, never. All right, I'm done.
What's Beef? I got a story to tell.
True. Pretty Smalls.
It's crazy.
Victory is pretty good, but that's not a big song.
It's a Diddy song
compilation. You know, he slayed that shit.
And while we are on the subject of Bad Boy, Craig Mack passed this week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Rest in peace, Craig Mack, man. And you know what's so crazy, bro? And you know, because when people pass, you hear how people talk about him and things like that. And I'm gonna keep it 1,000.
Yeah.
Craig Mack, bro, gave us one of the most influential, coolest, memorable songs in hip hop history, and that was "Flavor in Your Ear." Flavor in Your Ear will never die, bro. It's just one of those songs, bro. That song's so memorable, bro, that even the remix is crazy, bro. They was cool in the video. Diddy had the bottles doing the Warriors joint. And like, so it's just, you want me to tell you what it is? Flavor in Your Ear is one of those moments in hip hop at that current time where you saw the culture at that time all together. Everything from the people on the remix to how the video is filmed to how different the artists are. Like listen, that Flavor in Your Ear remix is a hella diverse cast of personalities. It's LL, it's Big, it's Craig Mack, it's Busta Rhymes, it's Rampage. Like, it's mad niggas on here whose dynamic in their personality was hella different. You had a ladies band on there. You had a cool overwood just gangster lover on there, like this Big is on there. Then you had this wild ass over the top, like this barbarian, and then you had Rampage, who was like his little brother. Like it was just so much going on, bro. Like, what the fuck made LL go, all right, bro, all these motherfuckers coming with the hard ass rounds, I'm about to start this stuff off. Yeah, shit. Like, like that's such a, and this crazy part about it is, that's just such a play ass thing to do on a song. That's such a play ass thing to do. But yeah, man, we lost Craig Mack. And don't get me wrong, so it used to be funny back in the day to tell cats you ugly as Craig Mack. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, man, rest in peace, Craig. But everybody knows what Craig Mack looked like.
Yeah, and I think that was the first time we heard that Bad Boy come out and play like Bottles was on that song.
Right, it's cats who never seen the Warriors and think the first time they saw the Warriors that the Warriors is just copying Diddy. I met a cat like they like, oh snap, bro, they're doing the Bad Boy. No, bro, you know how old this movie is?
Yeah, the Warriors is around for a minute.
Yeah, right. The Warriors is around for a minute. It's a good. The Warriors is always a good movie, bro. It's an incredible cast. It's some great acting, bro. There's motherfuckers in there that you wouldn't even think like fucking William Dafoe's in that shit. Like, that shit is insane.
Yeah, man. Not only did we lose Craig Mack, we also lost Stephen Hawking.
Yes, bruh.
That was crazy.
We did lose Stephen Hawking. Bruh, let me tell you something, bruh. One of my favorite shows is Archer. And so, much like Archer, my scale of fears goes from being, normal fears to being completely unrealistic. And one of my many fears is fucking black holes, bruh. Bruh, listen, you can't go near it. It's not like you can just like throw something like, oh, let me just see what happens if I do this shit. Do it. No, bruh, it's a fucking black hole, bruh. And that man, Stephen Hawking, spent his life researching them and trying to just understand them a little bit better. And he was the Einstein of his time. And the crazy thing about it is, Stephen Hawking, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he got Lou Gehrig's disease, or they diagnosed him with Lou Gehrig's disease like when he was like in his 20s, and told him he only had like a couple years to live, like 5 years, I think. And he got 55 more years out of that, bro. He discovered the Hawking particles, which are the particles that, based on, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, based on quantum mechanics, he discovered that black holes actually release some sort of particle to some degree. I gotta read up on it, but yeah, shit is crazy, bro. Like, not only that, bro, but when we one, everything he achieved as a scientist. Number 2, married twice, 3 kids. Number 3, married twice with 3 kids in a wheelchair, and all you can do is move your eyes and your finger. What kind of fucking pimp game does this nigga Stephen Hawking have, bro? Like, listen, bro, that part blew my mind today, and I'm not trying to be petty when I say this, because I really am in awe of the man's accomplishments and everything he did for the world that we live in. But Stephen Hawking, and y'all see, if y'all watch The Simpsons, he's the dude that's always on The Simpsons, just moving his fingers and his head and shit. That Stephen Hawking got married twice and fathered 3 children, and all I want to know is, how crazy was that pickup line? Did he just like roll up on chicks and was like, "What's up? Let's go get some barbecue and get busy." And like, if he then said that and they was just like, "Hell yeah, Steve," and before you know it, Steve is just like somewhere else talking to another dude in the wheelchair. So I'm like, "Oh my god, baby moms be tripping and shit." Like, that shit blows me away that Stephen Hawking married twice and fathered 3 kids, and they not all with the same woman. Like Hawking was out here, bro. Just out here, bro. I feel you, bro. I'm sorry. Maybe that may not be crazy to anybody to me, and not that I think that the man should have been alone or anything like that, because he said some incredible things about the women that he was with. But it's just funny to me. It's just funny to me if I'm gonna keep it a rack with y'all. It's funny to me that a dude who can't talk, hears, like, well, no, I'm not gonna say that, but he can't move. He got Lou Gehrig's disease. He can move one finger and his eyes, and he got married twice.
Hey, listen, that's the power of technology right there. Like,
is it the power of technology?
That is some kind of power.
Is it,
like,
or just or is one of them equations something that Stephen Hawking he just found some sort of quantum equation for the sauce? Cause Stephen Hawking's out here dripping. I don't care what nobody say, bro. Bro, listen. No offense. You and I are fully functional human beings, bro. We're cognizant. We have control of our limbs and our extremities. Like, we physically we are much more capable than Stephen Hawking was for the majority of his life. And I don't mean this to insult the man. But you and I, in our day-to-day, still got to look at the opposite and go, okay, I don't even know if I can approach her. Stephen Hawking had a one finger and eye movement and was just like, I'm going to get this bitch. She don't even know. She don't know nothing about heart. And it worked, bro. It just worked. Blown away by that.
Give me this pussy.
Yeah. Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can, bro. You gotta respect the Hawk, bro.
Hey,
You gotta respect the Hawkins, bro. Bro, you want me to tell you why I know he probably did it, bro? Because Hawkins went. I think did he go to space?
Did he go to space?
I think he might have went to space. But I know he went to Antarctica, bro. Like, first of all, bro, if you in a wheelchair and you can only move your eyes and and one finger, you don't need to be in Antarctica. It's not a good place for you. It's actually the opposite of a good place for you.
Yeah, apparently it says he never reached space, but it was always something he wanted to do.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah, he studied space a lot.
Exactly, bro. Like, Stephen Hawking was just in his crib and they go like, man, black holes, fucking these bitches. Only thing I ain't done yet is space, my nigga. I got to go up, bro. I got to go up. And I believe like that was his, like, I believe that when you are that brilliant, you eventually, something just clicks and all of a sudden you cool too at the same time. Like, it's true, bro. Like, every cat I can think of that as a kid got made fun of for being like smart or nerdy and stuff like that is cool as fuck now. And so I think Stephen Hawking was just one of those cats. I think he was just one day like bro, I got eye movement in one finger, bro. I'm about to set the streets on fire.
How can people hate on that? You can't hate on that.
Like, you can't hate on that.
Like
bro. You can't hate on one finger and just rapid eye move. Bro, like no offense, bro. Like, going back to the subject, when he went to talk to the girl, the little robot voice thing didn't work. That means he pulled a whole grown ass woman with eye movement in one finger, bro. That motherfucker is the MacGyver of bitches, bro.
Come here.
Like, yeah, bro. That shit was like blink twice and get over here, bro. That motherfucker is Mack MacGyver, bro.
Yeah, word.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna let Stephen Hawking go. Rest in peace, him and Craig Mack, man. It's two incredible life energies that, you know, the world lost, and we can only hope that we get it back in some other way and it goes to something positive. But yeah, bro, rest in peace to those guys, man. Amazing things they did, culture and just overall.
Very impactful. Very impactful. The next thing on this list was JQ. He saw Black Panther.
He did, y'all. He told us what, episode 2?
He said episode 1.
Episode 1.
He said he was not seeing Black Panther.
And he saw, right? He caught me, and when he told me that he saw it, he looked guilty. He looked guilty that he saw it and that he probably liked it. But it's JQ, so what's going to happen is eventually we're going to talk to JQ. He may or may not turn up in here later.
We got to get him on the phone about this Black Panther thing.
And just to see, like, hey, bro, so you saw Black Panther. How you saw that on selling out?
We gotta get JQ on the phone. I almost called him Black Panther. We gotta get T'Challa on the phone.
Other than that, so Martin Shkreli.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard? So for all you guys who may not know the whole thing with Martin Shkreli, and at least my beef with, I've gone the way of Charlamagne, which is. Honestly, bro, my problem with you, bro, real life, bro, my nigga, how you gonna disrespect the God Ghostface, bro? And more importantly, bro, why would you threaten to do that to the Wu-Tang album, bro? Like, here's the, bro, let me explain something, bro, and this goes for anybody, bro. Things like music and art and the things that we put ourselves and our essence in just to make this world a little bit of a better place, they're important. They're very important. And so if you threaten to destroy something like that, you're an asshole. You are such an asshole. You're such an asshole, bro. You're such an asshole.
I don't think he cared in the first place. He wanted to, he was like, I'm gonna destroy the Wu-Tang album. I'm gonna take all Ghost verses off. I'm gonna raise the price of the drug that was for HIV treatment. He was literally
like my whole thing, bro, is you threatening a bunch of dumb shit, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. and this is coming from somebody who listens to rap, where half the threats made in a rap song are completely ridiculous. Do you know how many? There's not enough flesh around them to do some of the things they threaten to do in rap songs. But nevertheless, Martin Shkreli, as you guys know, on the I believe started the biotech company Retrofin, who did research and manufacture a drug that was sort of HIV treatment. He also headed a hedge fund. At some point during his career, he came into possession through bidding of a very, 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 very incredible piece of not just hip hop history, but literally Black history, which is the most recent Wu-Tang album, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin. I'll give you a little background on that. It's an album recorded by the Wu-Tang Clan that they agreed to make only one copy of and sell it for a ridiculous amount of money. And it did. It did. Martin Shkreli was the benefactor. Well, time goes on and people find out that Mr. Shkreli's company, Retrofin, was responsible for raising prices on the AIDS treatment drug, which angered a lot of people in communities around the world, and eventually led to him having a feud with Ghostface and the Wu, and him threatening to destroy the album and so forth and so on. But today, we're talking about Martin Shkreli because it was recently discovered that he was accused, or rather he did, defraud several investors out of millions of dollars. And he was facing 20 years, but had somehow got that down to 7, I believe.
7. Like, did you? I don't know if you like kept up with the case or the when he was in court or whatever, and like he ended up breaking down, crying, and like his lawyer was like, he has a punchable face. Like he actually said, like he was like, sometimes I want to, on some days I just want to punch him in the face. His lawyer said
he does
that.
have a punchable face. He does have a punchable face. He looks like he looks like the guy that would say the worst thing to you and get into the fetal position so fast, which is just annoying because you're trying to hurt somebody, and it's hard to hurt somebody when they're in the fetal position.
I didn't think about that. It's true.
It is, bro. You're so protected. You look like an armadillo.
It's like trying to play popcorn on the trampoline.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
God, don't.
Like curled up and trying to like keep jumping the. That was crazy though. 7. Honestly, I honestly wasn't expecting him to get 7. I was thinking it was gonna be a little less than that. But at the same time, it's like, well, look at what all has happened in the course of like his run.
The full 1 thou out. I thought he was gonna get off scot-free.
I was thinking something too. I was thinking like probation.
I think like, honestly, not only was he going to get off, but they was going to validate his parking.
They definitely got him out of here. And I think he got time served, so it's probably going to be like 6 years and some change.
Pretty much. Do that. 6 years in that day.
6 years. That's 2024. We'll be in like. That'd be another election year.
Heck yeah, bro. Bro, it sucks to go to jail. You know what? Time just be passing your ass by.
Yeah, for real.
And I know, but you know what? It's gonna be mixed feelings about it. It's gonna be mixed feelings because certain people's gonna be like, "Oh, he's such a fucking asshole. He deserves this." Yada yada yada. And then that's the thing. We gotta, we just kind of dehumanize that because I'm pretty sure that nobody wants to go to jail for 20 minutes, let alone 7 years.
Yeah, that's crazy, but at the end of the day, gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh, yeah.
So let me try to get JQ on the phone. We gotta talk about this Black Panther. I don't know if he gonna answer or not, but we gonna see. We gonna see. That's my phone dying.
You so much better than me. I only give it 3 rings. You get 3 rings to not answer me.
3 rings.
Your call has been forwarded to...
Oh yeah, he's out of there. But I guess we'll find out what he thinks about Black Panther next week, probably. Mm-hmm. But another thing. Let me look at this list. So, Cardi B announced her album is coming out in April.
Smart.
Nicki disappeared, but allegedly there's a rumor going around. You can't really, you can only take these rumors with a grain of salt. It's like her album's coming out in April. Remy got a single out right now, and we haven't heard anything about her album, but we know she's coming out with an album. So it's kind of like, with the way this year is set up, and with the 3 of them like being at the forefront of like
female rap,
yeah, like how do we feel about, well, basically the
simple.
Expectations.
Yeah,
of
it's simple, bro. Like, you may not like them, or you may like maybe one of them, or you may like 2 of them, or maybe you do like all of them. But get them ladies they respect, bro. Don't like say what you want. Them 3 right now are the 3 biggest female names in rap. Right now, hands down. Like, and I know a lot of people like, oh, no, so and this person. No, bro. That motherfucker does not have a bigger command right now of an audience than them 3.
Exactly. Like, it all started last year, man. It was looking very shaky for Nicki, at least, just because of how the rollout for, like, cause she put out 3 songs last year and they didn't really go anywhere. Remy put out Sheether, and then she put her singles out. Her hat is in the race. We see what Cardi's doing. Cardi's on the roll. Her hat is in the race. So it's like,
what it is the crazy part about it is, bro. Cardi B is benefiting from the same thing that Nicki Minaj's way when she stepped on the scene. I'm gonna be vulgar. I'm gonna be nasty as fuck, and I'm gonna make it so, like, honestly, the thing. I think it's so crazy, bro. I know girls who are not gay, bro, but they swear to God they will sleep with Cardi B. And remember, Nicki Minaj's thing was the same thing. She was vulgar. She was lit, and she was just like perverted. And not to say that, you know, that shit wasn't cool, because it was awesome.
yeah, we love Nicki for that.
But now what it is now Nicki want to enter her. Nicki wants to be able to rap to her audience the way Drake is able to rap to his audience now that he's a little bit older.
And what's interesting about that is, it's kind of like, and I was thinking about this other day, does Nicki have anything to prove at this point?
Mm-mm.
And it's kind of like yes and no. And the reason I say that is because on the last album she put out, the Pink Print, like, I think that was the last album that, like, Safari was involved in. So it's kind of like, how is the next project going to fare off without Safari in the picture? And, like, what direction? Because she hasn't really been saying too much. She put out the 3 songs, and then it was kind of like, she been doing the thing. She been killing the features. Like, the features, she did Motorsport, she did the Plain Jane remix, she did Rake It Up. Like, the features, she definitely did those, but it's like, with the album itself, or with the body of work, like, who's gonna...
I'm gonna tell you how this is gonna go. Cardi's gonna win. Cardi's gonna win because here's the thing: she's the youngest, she's the most current. Also, You know how people's favorite rhymes by Trina is her filthiest stuff?
Yeah.
People's favorite lines by Nicki and stuff like that, some of her filthiest, grittiest stuff. But when she tries to go cool and like, too cool for school, it's not going. It don't mesh.
Yeah.
It don't mesh well because she tries to talk about the same things that she used to be vulgar and nasty about in this mature way, and nobody. It's like.
Yeah, I think the last time she hit that mark where it was like that perfect mix of like the stuff that she was like the vulgar stuff was like the Anaconda song.
Yeah.
Everything else was kind of like.
And people love that song.
Yeah,
people love that song. It's a grotesque song, but people love it.
Yeah, but I can agree that I think Cardi has this one just because, and that's not me doubting Nicki, but it's just like it comes to a point where I want to be proven wrong, but it's like, what is it that could be done, or that she can do, or she might have a plan? Because I like the fact that she hasn't been saying much, because it was kind of shaky, like a year ago, because it was kind of like she would go on Twitter and just break down some of the simplest bars, and not really like. It was kind of like it was like the simplest stuff too. It was like she said something about like, I don't keep up with the Jones, but I know Catherine Zeta. It was like Catherine Zeta Jones or something. I can't remember what she said, but it was just like some of the simplest stuff that she said. Like she would try to break it down in this like elaborate way that she think that everybody may not have gotten. But I kind of like that she hasn't said anything like all year. I think.
Who, Nicki?
Nah, she ain't really been saying too much, and that's cool. That's cool. It kind of gives that mystique of what should we expect from you next. Cause I'm pretty sure she cooking up.
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
I'll just say this. People forget the Young Money formula was no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter what song you hear, one of us is going to be on it. And nowadays, that's knocked away. The TDE formula is, listen, we're going to drop something flame, and then you ain't going to hear shit. We're not doing no mixtapes, nothing.
Just straight ghosts.
But yeah, it is true. Nowadays, bro, a mixtape isn't what it used to be. And what's crazy about it is, it's mixtapes out there that because they're so great, it hurts the artist. I'll give you a prime example. One of my favorite artists, Wiz Khalifa.
Oh, I know where this going.
Wiz is my man. Number one, Wiz has no album that's as good as his mixtapes. Yeah. What about O&IFC? Yeah, that one too.
O&IFC was dope though.
It was dope.
I didn't like Rolling Papers.
Rolling Papers is a good album. But do any one of those go as hard as Cushion Orange Juice?
No.
Exactly.
Not even even Taylor Alderdice. The anniversary for that was recent. That came out this month, like in 2012. Mm-hmm. That was a classic.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't on the level of Cushion OJ, but it was still a classic in its own right.
It was. Think about how good Cabin Fever was.
Cabin Fever was good too.
But that's the thing where I be trying to get people to understand. I like Wiz a lot. I think Wiz is amazing. But Wiz should have jumped on the TDE plan early. Which was, alright, now that everybody loves me, I can starve everybody for me as much as I want. Because we do that for Kendrick, right? Kendrick was it, bro? Listen, how long was it between To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn?
That was 2 years. Between Good Kid and Pimp a Butterfly, that was 3 years. But I think the biggest drought came between Good Kid and To Pimp a Butterfly. That was the longest Kendrick drought. Because everybody was wondering, like, when is the next Kendrick album coming out after
What's he
that?
gonna do?
Like, what is it gonna be about? Like,
He did the Untitled joint too.
yeah.
Bro, listen. When the last time you got a Kendrick mixtape?
Exactly.
The closest you gonna
Right.
get is what? Section 80?
I mean, if we
But I think that's
choose
an
to count
album.
that as an album,
I'm pretty sure that's an album.
that's, yeah. I would say it's an album, personally. But what's crazy about, like, the mixtape nowadays is that the mixtape, in a sense, has become the album. Like, people are, like, selling the mixtape. Like, there's not really much free music anymore, unless...
This is what I strongly believe, and I totally feel you on that. But I believe what has happened is this. Showmanship has taken a major beating over the last couple years. Let me tell you what I mean. Once upon a time, the song couldn't just be good. The hook couldn't just be good. The lyrics couldn't just be good. The person who's making the song had to be a certain kind of person. This, depending on how successful a song was, something that song might influence a trend. But the things that make, especially in the great rap hip hop music, great, are how influential they are and how memorable they are. And now I think with a lot of guys that come out nowadays, I think their music and their talent does not have a timelessness to it. You just don't, like, same era, same time. Jay and Nas, completely different people. Completely different in their approach to rap. Nas still writes stuff down. Jay never wrote nothing down. And that dynamic is just crazy.
That is true. Yeah, I think, like, when it comes to, like, the mixtape, going back to the mixtape album thing, and it's like when that person peaks at their mixtape, some people get it right, others not so much. I'm still kind of in limbo about how I feel about Friday Night Lights compared to every J. Cole album.
Okay.
Because of how dope Friday Night Lights was.
I can totally understand that. I tell people a good example is, people gonna hate me for this, Lil Wayne. We all love Weezy, right? But what freaking happened? Wayne burnt himself out. Then now what happens is, because he burnt himself out, but he can't not make music. He be coming in at his music and it wouldn't sound right. It wouldn't sound good, at least not to me. But then what Wayne started doing was taking time off. And when he started taking time off, now you have Dedication 6, and Dedication 6 is incredible.
6 and Reloaded.
Reloaded is even better.
Reloaded was Dedication 6, like, it should have been called On Steroids instead of Reloaded, because that was crazy. Like,
he beat Dedication 6 Reloaded to death.
He took that and he made it even bigger. Yeah. Like, the OK I'm Reloaded tag, that had to be what was going through his mind when he did that whole project. Like, and what's crazy is that at first, when I first heard it, I skimmed through it, and I was kind of like, it didn't hit me until I got in the car and I listened to it from the top to bottom, and it was just like, whoa. And I don't remember the last time I felt like that about a Wayne project, just because of what he put out before with, you know, like the, like, after the whole, when the Cash Money thing was at its peak, and he did, like, all those, like the No Ceilings 2 and the Sorry for the Wait 2 and things like that, where it's kind of like, But he definitely came back and got it right. And
he got it really right on this one.
Since we are on the subject of Wayne, so with him and Birdman hugging it out, even though we have seen this scenario before, is it a matter of, is this the year we get Carter 5, or is this the year that things look like they're going to get solved and then it goes right back to F Cash Money?
The latter. We got. Well, let me say this. I don't care. You could have. That footage could have been them holding hands, eating sherbet ice cream, tied to each other on a sunny day. And guess what?
At the end of the day, he still wants his money. That's like, that's what I'm gathering, because apparently the lawsuit is still on. So.
Like, you can't get upset at him. Like, here's my thing, man. I get that weird line you gotta cross. Like, bruh, you my man, you my people. But you owe me a lot of bread, bro. Like, it's not like he's suing him over a couple $100,000 or something like that. Not even, I mean, he's suing you for $51 million.
51. That is a high number. Like 51 million. That's still mind-boggling to me. And what's crazy is that it didn't even start out as 51 million. It blossomed into 51 million, because it was like it started out like 8 million, and then it was like at first it was give me 8 million for Carter 5 and then I'll drop it. And then it became just give me everything and just let me go. And then that turned into
no, bro. And they been holding this shit hostage this whole time, bro. Like, that's what the crazy part about it is. Like, they've been holding that man's finished project. Like, I wonder if at this point he's like, yo, I gotta have to re-record a whole new album now at this point.
I think so. Because I feel like with the stuff that I've heard from it, I feel like some of it would be dated. Even though I do want him to keep the song with him and Kendrick on there. Like, that's for sure. I need him to keep that on there. Everything else, I'm pretty sure I won't I would make sure that it doesn't sound dated. Because that album was finished in 2014, and the sound has definitely changed in the last few years. So it's like,
the good thing is he's somebody popular that people haven't heard work from in a while.
Yeah. But I wouldn't want him to like put Believe Me on there 4 years later. Yeah, I feel like he can still.
He can. See, the thing is, cats like him, music, it just come out of them. They got to do it.
Yeah, he even redid Carter 3, I believe.
Yeah,
like when the whole thing got leaked, and then he re-recorded it. I feel like it could have the same effect. Not exactly saying that he'll like commercially perform the same as he did back then. Not to say that it's impossible, but at the same time, it's like you could still re-record it, rework it. You know, like keep everything that people like haven't heard that doesn't sound dated. Like, just get with the right people, and just like make sure that everything is solid. And that's what I want. Like, I really like. I've been anticipating this album for a while. And that's all I really want from it, right? Because from what he had, he was on the road then, and now that he has like D6 and D6 Reloaded, I feel like now would be a good time for strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, man. Like, I definitely think I think that's it. Like, honestly, like that's really it. Hopefully they.
But that's 51
Yeah, it's like,
bruh.
if it takes $8 million for him to put out the Carter 5, just
like it's not even that, bro. Like it's $51 million, and you can't get out your contract. Like, goddamn, baby. Like, goddamn, Birdman. Like,
meanwhile, Birdman over here living his best life.
just cha-ching. Bro, like, you got all your albums, bro. All your albums been also Lil Wayne albums that you got credit for.
Yeah, like every Birdman project, well, I know the last few he put out, like 10 of them had featuring Lil Wayne on.
And 100% of them had written by Lil Wayne.
So it's like, that's why I found it pretty like entertaining when Birdman could have struck while the iron was hot when he did the.
Oh no, he definitely did, because somehow he pulled Tony Braxton. Like, I still like don't understand how that happened.
That's crazy. And he engaged supposedly. And Birdman, he got the pearly whites now. Like, Birdman, this looks like he's doing the 180. I mean, I don't know. But long story short, hopefully we get Carter 5 this year. Only time will tell, man, how this whole thing will play out. Hopefully it don't drag out till we're like 40 or till they're like 60.
Bro, listen, I'm gonna tell you now, we're not getting the Carter 5, we're not getting a Detox album, and we're not getting C Murder out of jail. Things that ain't gonna happen this year.
Yeah, it took about 16 years for us to get a Dr. Dre album. So yeah, shoot. Probably be in our 30s by the time that even happens.
Already there, son.
But okay, what else is on this list? I feel like we talked about this for a minute.
What else we got?
I'm kind of going out of order, but it don't even matter.
They've been coming naturally.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is coming out, and I'm freaking excited.
I'm not. I'm done with Call of Duty, man. I'm not, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna let you rock on that one.
Call of Duty tends to come out, bro, and just be the same game every time. Each time they did the one joint where it was like Call of Duty Halo, and you was jumping around the map all crazy, and all that shit winged. It all just winged.
Infinite Warfare. I remember that. See, that's the thing though. I can agree with that because I didn't see with 3 different companies. It's kind of tricky, like them having their turn. Infinite Warfare, I wasn't the biggest fan of. I feel like World War II was the slowest Call of Duty ever, but I'm a huge fan of the Black Ops series, so it's kind of like I wanna support it just because, you know, me being a big fan of like that series in particular, as opposed to everything else. Not saying I didn't like Modern Warfare, because I love the Modern Warfare series, but it's like Black Ops holds a special place in my heart, you know.
The first Black Ops, amazing. Black Ops 2, phenomenal. Everyone after that.
Yeah, Black Ops 3 was, because Black Ops 3, it picked up off of Advanced Warfare, and then you started like flying around everywhere. So, I mean, I like the aesthetics of it, and it definitely made for a faster game. But for Call of Duty, I mean, if you prefer like the boots to the ground, like Call of Duty, then.
But when we tell you was here, I hate all the stupid World War II ones too. Like, you know that. Oh, you gotta play that one. That's what's great. No, I don't. You play that, bro. I don't want to be all of a sudden, bro. And I'm running around trying to kill some dude with a musket. Like, no, bro. Chopper.
Yeah, I mean, World War II wasn't the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, it was the slowest, like, Call of Duty. I feel like, even with, like, progressing in it, I feel like it was kind of, like, the same. And this is actually, what's crazy is that this is my first time on the podcast actually talking about video games.
That is true.
And I started out as a video game channel.
It's the one thing we definitely have not covered.
So, do you care about all of this heat that Nintendo has coming? Nintendo they got Super Smash coming out for the Switch.
And that's all I was waiting for.
The Super Smash.
Listen, Super Smash Brothers, hands down, has been the reason I bought any Nintendo system in the last, like, 4 to 5 generations of Nintendo. That's why I had a Wii. That's why I wanted a Wii U. That's it. We're like, and now that it's going to be on the Switch, here I come.
They got hella heat on there. I'm in line for that. Like, I missed the Super Mario Odyssey and the Zelda Breath of the Wild train, but I heard phenomenal things. Phenomenal things.
What's crazy about it is, I can't name that many games on the Switch off the top of my head, but I have nobody to tap and be like, oh, this person said this game was bad or it was trash. Because it just doesn't happen. People love that thing.
Yeah, man. I just feel like this first quarter has been, unless you've been playing Fortnite.
I heard about this.
This year has been, it's been slow so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, unless you've been playing Fortnite, it's been very quiet.
Monster Hunter World wasn't bad either, but it got a little repetitive.
Monster Hunter did come out this year.
Yeah, it was a little repetitive for my taste. The Dragon Ball Z Fighters game is cool too, but it leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, I liked Fighters. One thing I didn't like and I just gave up on was the story. Story just was it was too slow for me. Like, I like the combat. Like, I love the gameplay. Like my team is Goku, Black, Trunks, and Tien, and I like it. I like it. It definitely has that Marvel vs. Capcom feel. So that was definitely something that I liked, but at the same time, it was like some issues you run into, like with trying to connect to a lobby or something like that, because you have to be in a lobby in order to like play the game. But I say it was a pretty decent game. I say it was a good game, but there's a lot coming up this year to look forward to, and majority of that is on the Switch. And let's see, what else do we have here? So this theory that I've been seeing, have you heard about the Ezel getting Craig fired theory?
Okay, I was going to ask you to explain this to me.
So apparently, in the director's cut of the Friday movie, I don't think it was in the original movie, but basically it was you see Ezel running down the street with boxes. The same boxes that apparently got Craig fired on his day off. So that's the theory, that Ezel got Craig fired for being caught on videotape stealing boxes.
Because of him.
Because Ezel was running down the street with boxes. Like, that's the theory.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm with that.
This is crazy. I personally feel like the director's cut, and what's crazy is that when you want to watch Friday, the director's cut is the fastest thing, the only thing you can get to. Like, you can't get to the OG version of Friday. So it's like, I can kind of see how that spread around, but that's pretty interesting if Ezel got Craig fired. But what's crazy is that Craig and Ezel Ezel was shorter than Craig, I think, in the movie.
In the movie, I think they might have showed him that way, but Ezel he's not too much shorter than Ice Cube. I mean, Ice Cube ain't that tall anyway.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know, man. Like, I can't think of how they would get him mixed up with Craig, though, and get Craig fired on his day off. But I do find that intriguing, that people like go back and look at like the all-time favorite movies and just find stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because you can, but that's hella old movies. You can do. Well, not old movies, but any movie you can kind of almost go back. Any movie that's longer than like 90 minutes, you can definitely go back and do that too. Because people, what was it? The Paranormal Activity movies. People were basically doing that to them, just trying to figure out what was real. It's like, okay, no, this shit is definitely real as fuck.
You want to know something funny?
What's up?
Remember when Willie sent Craig to get the fix him a glass of water, and I didn't notice till later on in life when Ice Cube when he dropped the ice cube on the ground and then he looked at the camera. I didn't understand. Like, it took me a minute to get where he was going with that. It was like, I didn't know if he was like, he dropped it because he looked at the camera because he was about to put the ice cube back in the drink, or he just looked at the camera because he's Ice Cube.
Nah, man, he breaking the fourth wall.
That
Breaking the fourth wall.
he did that in like the other frightening movies too. Like, he had those moments where he like broke the fourth wall. Like, he'll just look at the camera and stuff like that. But that part right there, I found that to be something that was like, I didn't catch on to that later in life, and I'm curious to know. I hope I'm not the only one that didn't catch up to that. I hope I kind of blew some minds just then, just so I won't feel like I'm the only one that caught that.
It's not. Watch. As time goes on, more black. Ezel. Because this is the thing. As much as I hate to say it, the movie Friday is perfect, like barbershop talk. So now we gotta go to a barbershop, find some old people in the scene Friday, and be like, check this out. Ezel got Craig fired, y'all. And watch everybody go, no, he didn't. Y'all know what y'all talking about.
Go watch the director's cut. It's probably the quickest version you can get to, which is crazy, because I need that OG version of Friday. I need a way to watch that. Like, I've tried renting it. I have the director's cut on Blu-ray, and that was because it was the only one I can get. But just the dialogue is different in it. It's just like a lot of stuff is different. Like, I need that OG version. Like, but that was an interesting theory that I thought was pretty cool.
Sorry if I sound like I'm chilling, y'all, because I am.
He is definitely chilling. We are actually at his house.
Yeah.
Like, I have my
Paw Patrol table
computer on the Paw Patrol table. Like, this is
my recliner.
This is crazy.
Y'all don't even know.
He is over there chilling. It's late. We didn't get to this till late, but we gotta have this. We had to have this up by the right day.
You know, for y'all.
Yeah. So where are we? The OJ interview. Should we even jump into this?
All I gotta say on the OJ interview is that it happened. Because it's beyond me that he would still go places and do things that are like.
Yeah, when he said he would like go to her grave and curse her out. It's like that's wild.
He's what?
Yeah. He was like he said something about like, it just because they die, it doesn't mean that anger towards them goes away. Like, just the way he like described the whole thing, and it was from a hypothetical sense, kind of like how the book was, and he taught in like that, if like the what if I did it thing, like,
bruh. Here's what I don't do, bro. I don't commit a crime and then go back to the people who just accuse me of crime and go like, but if I did do it,
this is like this. How it would have went. But that was crazy. That whole thing was like, you have no choice. No matter how you try to look at it, if you try to play devil's advocate, it's kind of like you can't. And I mean that in terms of him not doing it, just because of how he worded everything.
True.
But we just want to touch on that briefly. Juelz Santana.
Bruh. Bruh, can I just say something to all rappers, bruh? Just go to the airport, bruh. It's not that serious. Just go to the airport, go through, and go on about your business, bruh. Why do y'all have to do all this cockamamie shit at the fucking airport, bruh? Number one, bruh, TSA like 300 people deep is more of them than you, bruh. It's way more than them. Like, and to make it worse, bruh, how much I bet you he wasn't even doing nothing wrong. Your dumb ass just ran.
They found a gun. They found the gun and he just took off. Later, he turned himself in, though.
What?
Later on, he turned himself in. But at first, he took off, and apparently he got into a cab.
Next question. Can't we just look at Juelz?
And what's crazy is that it's so many jokes with that, but they've already been made. Like the run it joke, the back to the crib joke. But it's very fitting. It's very fitting. Some other stuff we could talk about, but I think I'm gonna save it till next week. It's late. We've already been going on for a little bit over an hour.
Snoring and stuff in the background by accident. My bad, y'all. One day I was at work.
Yeah.
You know, had to hold it down. So.
Yeah, you know how that go. But again, this one is audio only. Everybody's like gone, so like we were the only ones that were able to stay local and produce the content. They produce the content. I think what we may do, and here's what I'm considering doing because of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is episode 4, part 1.
Okay.
And then hopefully what we can do sometime this week is do a part 2. So this will be episode 4, part 1, and then we'll do an episode 4, part 2. We'll kind of just break it down in half because it's a whole lot of other stuff that we still have to talk about. And hopefully, hopefully JQ should be here, but we're definitely going to do that. But for now, I'm going to go ahead, wrap it up right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow my SoundCloud. All of that stuff will be in the description box below. Myself, Nostalgic Twin, Coop, we signing out. Till next time, hopefully we have episode 4, part 2 up sometime before the week is out, and that is my goal. We're definitely going to have that going. But till then, catch y'all later. Peace.
Peace.